Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Sheelar. I'm the president and CEO of Construction Ready. And today we're launching a brand new resource called our Construction Ready podcast. It is entirely designed to promote careers and help you become aware of careers in the construction industry and specifically in the skilled trades. We're going to be interviewing people who are working in our industry, working in trades like electrical, general contracting, mechanical contracting. We'll be interviewing different professionals. And again, our focus is to raise awareness and make people aware of the great opportunities, the money you can make, the rewarding careers that are available. And I'm just super excited to be part of this podcast and super excited to introduce our hosts for this program, Chip and Pauli Wade. They are joining us. They'll actually be doing the interviews most of the time, but today I get to interview them to welcome them and to officially kick off this podcast. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got into the industry. Pauli, specifically, what excites you and challenges you each day about your line of work?
Right. Well, the same thing that excites me also challenges me is that no day is the exact same as the day before, right? So we might be doing demo on one of our rental projects one day. The next day we're doing social media stuff, bookkeeping, doing different projects and always kind of coming up with what's next, what's new. I think that one of our catchphrases around here is what if, right? What if this wall could move, or what if we could think of a way to leverage this for an opportunity for the family to get involved with the project. So kind of constantly that what if getting thrown into the mix and having the tools, the creativity to brainstorm that together with your spouse, your business partner. That certainly has its challenges, but
and the patience.
they're truly rewarding too, to get to do this as a family. The kids come along too. It is immensely rewarding and immensely challenging at the same time.
And so the answer is always different to that same question, right? You ask what if each day you ask it, the answer is a little different every day, right? So what about you, Chip? How would you answer that question?
After doing this for quite a while, we've been building and designing for now,
16.
between 15 to 20 years, thousands of projects all over the country. I like to, I'm a big technology buff. I love to see manufacturing processes and how technology continues to change. It's kind of like the never-ending spout of things that make things new and fresh, but seeing how those relate to hands-on construction and creation. I love to work with my two hands. I had the honor of working with my father at a really young age, and he taught me so many things. And then, of course, getting into television, it kind of was almost like just power steering, on just all of the experience and how many projects we were able to do in a short period of time. So, as far as the challenge goes, it's really the types of things we get ourselves into and the things that are less scary to endeavor now that I guess I've had so much positive reinforcement over the years. Not always done it correctly, but there's always a way to get through it. There's always a way to find the right or a good positive outcome one way or the other. So again, I think the challenges actually become the excitement because I know that there's always a solution. So the challenges become just another day in the office. We know they're going to be there, but there's always something fun and new technology to make it easier, faster, more rewarding, as long as you're there and you're hands-on.
That is so awesome. I'm curious, and this is a question for both of you. Was there a project along the way that you all did that went really well or that was really exciting and it made you say, hey, this is something we're pretty good at. This is something we enjoy or we're really good at. Is there a particular project that stands out?
For me, there definitely was. So Chip mentioned he had been doing TV and doing all these amazing renovations and just the accolades, the compliments that you would get, and you'd walk in and just the renovations themselves would just be like breathtakingly beautiful. But it was when he did the Ellen's Design Challenge. And so he was gone for a period of time, actually working with his hands every single day, doing like furniture building. And I got the opportunity to go visit him. And it was how much people in his exact same role would compliment him to me to say, Chip taught me so much in the 6-week period. Chip taught me how to do this. Like, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. And to get that like affirmation from a group of peers, really stands out to me to be like, I mean, I was biased, right? He's my husband. He's amazing. Like, I still say he's the most genuinely talented person I've ever met. And I was just lucky enough to have, the business background to kind of leverage this. And then he started teaching me how to build and do all these things. But then to see people walking his path and like have this immense admiration for him, that stands out to me as like, yeah, like this literally did credentialize not just the talent that he has and what he's doing, but for TV, for building, for all these things,
Well, that was nice. I shouldn't even say anything after that. Well, I guess I've never struggled with self-confidence. I thought I was good at it before that, but
But your wife had to have validation. She didn't just want to listen to you on that, Chip.
That's right.
Right?
I think there's one thing that with a project that, like, we had a house that was like very historic in downtown Atlanta. It was built in the late 1890s, and that was probably, I mean, I grew up doing things with my dad, but that was really the first project where we engaged in a large scale project together, and it was a doozy. It was the first one where we kind of got in. I don't want to say we're always in over our heads, but we are very good swimmers, and so we would, we would embark on things that we had really not the level of experience yet. But again, that's where we learn. The learning is in the kind of the thick of the challenge, and so that was really back when I was at Georgia Tech and in college. We did that. And again, that was kind of the catalyst that was our first step forward to say, hey, you know what? Looking back, that was crazy that we did it, but we totally rocked it out. And of course, that's gotten us into all kinds of trouble moving forward.
Well, we did it with like such limited resources
right.
at the time. Like, I look at the size of like, he had what, like a tiny closet to put his tools in, and talking about like our first jobs out of college. This is stuff we were doing after our regular day jobs. Chip was working as a structural engineer. I was working as a CPA. And like, my confidence in what we were able to pull off grew and grew and grew. And so like, yeah, you're right. That how
it's enablement.
it really stands out as like, that's the project, that stands out like, we can do this.
This reminds me, my wife and I actually bought a house in Decatur, downtown Decatur, that was built in 1926. And it was a similar deal. I mean, it was it needed a lot of work, but we were ready to tackle it on our own. And so we spent a lot of time at Scott Antique Market, which I'm sure you all are familiar with here in Atlanta, and looking for things that were from the 1920s that we could bring back to our house and incorporate, old doors and windows and hardware. And it was exciting. And it is hard. I mean, it's hard, it's expensive, but you learn a lot through the process. And it's funny that hearing you all tell that story brought back memories of that project for me. That was probably 20 years ago, but it's a similar deal. But I'm curious. So the main purpose of this program is to help people discover their calling, right? And to consider a career in construction, to figure out if this might be a good fit for them. So I'm curious to know, when did you all realize that this was your calling? When did you realize that construction was it for you, for each of you individually?
Well, I mean, I think that it's not something that happens overnight, and I don't think it's even something that I was looking for. I mean, I when I was in high school, I played sports, and I started my first kind of entrepreneurial, kind of onset. I'm an all-in type of guy, which you will come to understand. But I started a business just cutting grass. I mean, where one of my biggest accomplishments to this day, I talk about this, and my dad enabled me to do this because he helped me with it. But by the time I turned 15 years old, I had saved enough money to buy a used truck, but a truck that was, that I was super proud of, in cash on my 15th birthday. That's a testament to, it is a lot of hard work, but it's also, I had a great family situation. We didn't grow up with a ton of resources, but my dad was very much so involved and engaged in helping me cultivate that sense of hard work. And that was actually, we continued through high school to be quite successful doing that. I almost didn't even go to college, which again would have been, that was kind of not my path. I ended up going, but then I ended up kind of steering away from engineering, which is even what I studied, and I just had to try things out. I mean, and I think the benefit of knowing what my calling is or what I'm excited about or impassioned to do only comes from trying out a lot of different things. And what I found is I love to create. I like to work with my hands, whether that's leveraging an educational background or not. It's really about experience. I learned the most by being on a job site, watching skilled people do amazing things. And ultimately, that's what I love to do. So I've kind of crafted that piece into being able to build, being able to create, and be able to document and share that process with people. I would have not been able to clearly identify that that's what I was going to be doing 15 or 20 years later in the moment, but I absolutely love it.
That's right.
I love that advice to just experience as many things as you can, because you really don't know if you like something or not until you do it, right? And that includes careers and work. So, Pauli, did you have anything to add to that?
It was, having mentors along the way as well to guide you through that. Fortunately, we're a unique pairing where I brought a business background and I could see his frustration. Like you said, he's this creative type, this driven and wants to be doing things with Sands, never wants the day to be the same. But also struggling to a vision, right? To make that into a career, because also, doing something different every day is not necessarily a great business model, as we, say. It's not, so like kind of playing off of each other and seeing something kind of just develop, but having mentors to point us in the right direction, whether it be from my CPA firm or people from, the home builder he worked for that short period of time. It's just what they poured into us helped us discover what we were truly called to do. So, again, it's exciting to kind of take our experience and share it with younger people, help them kind of find their pathway.
And I think on that, another thing that we're really excited to share is stories about young people moving into the trades and how much it really is a pairing. It's not just the tradesman or the tradeswoman, but these young people that, they're starting their life out. They're getting married. It becomes this partnership where there's definitely a supporting role in that enables them to actually be able to create for themselves, grow their personal wealth and business together, which is an amazing, amazing thing. And we certainly have benefited from that dynamic together and are super grateful for it.
That's awesome. So what advice, it sounds like you have children. What advice do you give to young people who are thinking about, a different career? What would you tell them about the skilled trades, or do you even really focus on the skilled trades? Do you kind of back up and say, hey, these are all the options? I'm curious to know how you all handle it from a sort of personal parenting perspective.
Yeah, I mean, this is like for my children, what I would like to see. I mean, it's fine, learn what's in the books. That's fine. That's good. You need algebra and you need fractions. Like, we were talking with some young kids today. It's like, I use fractions every single day. Like right now, when you're sitting in the classroom, it makes no sense. You're like, what is happening right now? This does not seem, purposeful. And I talked to my, now going into ninth grade son. And he's like, well, Dad, do I really need English and ELA? Like, what is this? I'm like, some things, this is a lesson. Some things you just got to power through. You just got to get through it. And on the when you get past it, it's the culmination of all of those experiences. If you don't know what it is, or you don't give it a good try, you don't really even understand if it's something that you would want to do. And I feel like I've benefited more by knowing a little bit about a whole lot of different things. And that ultimately, as an adult, has been a key to success, because I've used things that 10 years later that I never thought I would. And I think it infuses you with an internal confidence to be able to embark on something new. It's a muscle. You have to practice learning and kind of storing that experience. And then that ultimately will definitely benefit you even in the short term.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I just want to finish up with one more question as we wrap up. What are you all looking forward to most about this program as you get to talk to young people and instructors and such who are coming into our industry.
Yeah, well, one thing I think maybe comes clear is that we're lovers of learning, and to get to learn, like our goal is always to learn something new on our projects, and to get to talk to people that have just different experiences than we do, or to get inspired by a young person with a passion to follow, to find what their calling is. I think that's what we're both like so excited, is just to share our own experiences and to hear from other people and learn something on every episode.
That is awesome. Well, thank you all so much again for doing the interview today, but more importantly, helping us with this podcast and being our hosts as we move forward and talk to our candidates. But thank you again. It's so good to see you all today, and I look forward to our podcast ahead. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. We look forward to it.
If you would like more information on Construction Ready and the many programs we have for those interested in the skilled trades, please visit constructionready.org.